Okay, hello. My name is Connor. And to be quite honest, I didn't think that I was doing enough to build a writer platform, so that's what this is. If that is too much transparency, then you are already in the wrong place. I'm just a terrible liar, to be honest with you. I write predominantly horror and fantasy. I'd say I did some essay, but we're not here to talk about that. We're here to talk about horror and fantasy. It's not going to be specifically reviews or anything like that. It's more of like what I learned from the stuff that I've read and I'm reading. And mostly that's because A, reviews are really subjective and I hope you can form your own opinion. You can. I believe in you. And B, because like, sort of who the hell am I? So let's get in. So what I'm reading right now, let's start there. Let's see if you're on the same page. Plain Bad Heroines by Emily, I don't know why I always want to say Emily A. Danforth. It's Emily M. Danforth. Plain Bad Heroines. She's the same person who wrote The Miseducation of Cameron Post. I did miss that one, although I was a YA. It's a YA novel. But I was YA when it came out, I think. Right on the top end. I think it was 2012, and you know, now that new adult is not a thing or is dying, I don't know. I hear something different. Not every week, because I'm not like talking to people about it every week, but I hear things that new adult just doesn't exist. But then you have tons of adults reading YA, so what are we doing? Who are we lying to? And to what end? The reason I bring this up, aside from the fact that it is so far phenomenal, let's see where I am. 113 pages in out of like 600. It is not zooming by, but it is super duper readable. And what I mean by that is it's written densely, not in like a Sherlock Holmes way, but densely in that each word matters. It's like crafted, it's beautiful. Saying it's like lyrical prose feels a little too flowery because it's like sharp and witty and Gothic. There you go. So it's like a beautifully carved out like stone relief on a castle or something. It takes place at a boarding school in Rhode Island, where, you know, wasps are present, both literal and acronym wise. Presumably. I mean, I suppose they might not be Protestants. There's some like misgivings. So one of the blurbs, Sarah Waters, said that has Gothic mischief. Certainly the things that happen are more than mischievous, I would say, but it's presented in a way where it's all just like, it's just so charming. The way that it's written, it's almost like delightful in its telling. Meaning that there's this unnamed narrator so far, so we get a little bit of their like slant on the story, and then they leave footnotes that either give you more information or just sort of like have little jabs at the characters. And it's really delightful. It's like a very interesting, funny, clever friend telling you a story they really care about, and then the story is also good. And all of that takes place, so you have like the part in the boarding school, it's in 1902. And then all that takes place also while they're now making a movie in present day about what happened at the boarding school, and then this book, and there's like scandal. It's great. Also, like every single person is queer. It feels like I haven't met every single person in the book yet, but it's just super duper queer, in like a really great way. And it's not just, you know, like, oh, coming out is so hard, which is valid and important tales. But these people sort of just get to be who they are, and inside of this like super awesome Gothic horror book. So if you read it, let me know. Again, I'm a sixth of the way through, but I'm very much enjoying it. And it reminded me about Picnic at Hanging Rock. I'm reaching for it. Will Everything Fall? No. By Joan Lindsay, which this is my copy. It's Penguin Classics. So I don't know if that means anything. But this, again, super short though, 200, a dense read, but a little bit more in the Sherlock Holmesy way, in my opinion. But again, it's about boarding school, all girls, something weird happens. I'm wondering if there's a correlation. I just dropped my notebook. It didn't have any notes about this video on it though. We're a really professional setup here. Beguiling landmark of Australian literature, it stands with Shirley Jackson, We Have Always Lived in the Castle, and Daphne du Maurier's Rebecca, and Jeffrey Eugenides. I say Eugenides is The Virgin Suicides, as a masterpiece of intrigue. And I would agree, I haven't read Rebecca yet, but I have read We've Always Lived in the Castle and The Virgin Suicides, and I'm reading this. And I think, yes, certainly a masterpiece of intrigue, but what sort of makes them like Gothic and sets them apart is that there's just doubt sewn into everything. And not in so much of like I keep saying Sherlock Holmes because my phone is on a stack of books and one of them is The Hound of the Baskervilles. But it's not like a whodunit. It's not Agatha Christie. It's not Knives Out for us youngins. It's just, something is off, but you can't place it. And I think too, it's not even Uncanny Valley where like, wow, something's off about that person. Like Stepford Wives, something's off, and then at the end, I won't spoil it, but you find out what the off thing is. And it's like, oh, all of this felt weird because of that specific thing. Whereas with Gothic stuff, or at least what I'm calling Gothic stuff, in these examples, Picnic at Hanging Rock, Plain Bound Heroines, Virgin Suicides, and We've Always Lived in the Castle, something is off, but it's never like there's inciting incidents, of course, and there's like weird things that happen, and there's people betraying and secrets and stuff like that, but it's never like, oh, we were in a haunted cornfield, or oh, it was a murder the whole time. It's just something is unsettled, and it's usually geographically. And I just think that's super neat. There isn't sort of like one pin. It's like something's just off, like reality is broken, there's a glitch in the matrix. It's all that sort of stuff, I think, that attributes to this like Gothic feel. And I'm realizing that it's amongst my favorite genre. Gothic's a genre. That's sort of it. That's the point.